So, Undertale. It's a game. Played through it, had a lot of feelings, as most of the people that played it. I know, like, with all internet sensations, or like projects on the internet, you're like, I like this so much, and I need to channel these emotions into doing something for this game, like related to this game. This is how usually fandom are born, right? Because, like, where are all these emotions?
Everybody's got these emotions. We're channeling them into making porn.
Exactly. My first language is Italian. The game was not in Italian, if you noticed that.
I did notice that.
I actually had to learn English to play.
You learned English to play Undertale? Oh my god.
Yes, just for that. Like, I saw this game and I said, like, okay, I'm gonna learn this language, this very unknown language that nobody actually
Super
speaks.
indie language.
Super indie language. So I went on Reddit and I was like, hey, does anyone want to do an Italian translation of this game? We actually set up a Slack to work on the project, like a free Slack. We were going. We had like translators, proofreaders, we had programmers that would like work on the tools. And most of it, we also needed people at least communicative enough with other people in the community to understand how the fuck you can actually modify Undertale. Because that's not trivial. Right? It's not like Toby Fox came to us and he was like, oh, here's the script of the game, translate it. No, we actually had to decompile the game. And you have like this big file which was complete junk, like all random bits of data that you had to make sense of and translate it. And sometimes some strings were just like were actual text that needed to translate, but some other times some strings were like control strings. So you translate it and the game crashes. On top of like the technical difficulties, because as you can imagine there were many of them, there were the human difficulties. As in like, imagine managing, for me, I knew nothing about like how you manage people, how you organize people. We had an issue because, of course, at the beginning we had so many translators that we had an issue in keeping everything consistent. Like, so we had to make a dictionary, like a glossary, right?
Was it like different dialects of Italian kind of thing?
Not different dialects,
different
but
opinions about which way a joke should be phrased?
Sometimes it's up. But also imagine like every time you find a word, you either have like a glossary ready of like how every keyword should be translated between like all translators, or if you don't, as we didn't at first, like every translator would just like translate the word as they see fit, right? And you had the proofreader that needed like check them all and make sense of everything, right? And like merging all these pieces of translation together was painful also, because like it was text files and we were like, should we use git merge? Should we like merge through that? And then we didn't know shit. Like we literally didn't know shit. We were like a bunch of people that didn't know shit. We had passion, but also we had a community, which was so weird. And we had in our team like a social media manager that would like do Fan Art Fridays on our Facebook page. And we had people asking us for progress, and we'll do like blogs, like progress blog posts on Tumblr. And this whole project took like 2 years, 3 years maybe for like to translate.
That's wild. So from your 18 to 20, you're just grinding at the Undertale mines. Were there like any jokes in the game that you translated? Sorry, there's literally like a fire at that building. Like, because I remember there being, in particular, a lot of jokes about spaghetti in Undertale.
A lot of jokes about spaghetti. But those are easily translated. Sans' jokes, like his jokes, were the worst to translate because it was...
They're English puns, right? So it's like a skeleton, and there's no way of doing that in Italian, I imagine.
We had to change them. Like, we had to rewrite so many jokes. And luckily, one of our translators, they just came up with the stupidest jokes ever, and we all loved them. But it was like not only a process of translating, it was a process of rewriting.
You have to localize it.
Yeah, that's what we call localization, right? You actually translate it, but then you actually make it that it keeps the same sense like in the target language.
So what were some things that you had to specifically localize for Italian audiences? Did you have to change the music to maybe include more like accordions or...
Now you made me think about that. So, not in Undertale, but in Deltarune. You know Deltarune, the sequel.
I'm familiar with it, yeah.
It's a sequel to Undertale. Sequel, let's not open that kind of worm. But still, same game in the series of games. And
it is the next game that Toby Fox is working on.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Do you speak English by chance?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.